reunion show of It's Those Guys Game Reviews. I am Nick Silveranato, and for those of you who don't remember, or never knew in the first place, this is...
Connor Jagger.
See, look at that enthusiasm. Isn't that great?
The enthusiasm's there.
So happy to be here. Look at that. Smile.
I didn't smile. It's a PS3 controller.
I can't see from
my
the
mustache.
And today's game reviewing is Tales of Xillia 2 for the PS3.
Tales of Xillia 2. What could have been?
I don't get that. Oh, well. Well, I guess we'll discuss that because that's the point of this
review. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll explain it to you.
Well, play the game. I mean, we're going to get to that anyway.
Or you can play the game.
Anyway. Xillia 2 takes place a year after the first game. This time we're introduced to Luger, the new protagonist who can't really talk in complete sentences.
Nothing does silent protagonist better than Isaac Howe.
That's who voiced him?
Yeah, that's who voices the guy, Isaac Howe.
Why didn't you credit him? I guess because of that one part, but I'm not going to discuss that because spoilers. On his way to his new job, he runs into a little girl who tricks some guards into attacking Luger to sneak onto a train. Luger manages to escape and get on the train just before it falls under a terrorist attack. As Luger and Drew try to figure out what's going on, they find out that Luger's brother Julius may be behind the attack. Needless to say, shit goes south from there. And the rest is just a long, drawn-out adventure because, well, JRPG.
Of what ifs and what could have been.
Yeah, basically like that.
Which makes this game overly depressing in some parts.
We'll get to that a little later in the review, but anyway. Mechanically, it's a Tales game. The battle system is tried and true to the series. Sure, you can also play multiplayer, but really, who's gonna do that? You can, of course, customize how your characters work on the battlefield. There are plenty of choices you can make to keep your party alive and active. Luger also has 3 different fighting styles: blades, staff, and guns. Each style has its own set of moves and special attacks. The linking system is back and works the same as it did in the first game. With 2 characters linked, they can combine their arts together and even perform a chain of them if done correctly. The game also has an affinity system. It's basically the more you link with characters, the more you interact with characters and stuff like that, and talk to characters, the way they like you kind of goes up, and it kind of helps throughout the game because you can get like items from them, learn moves. It helps linking and stuff better.
And when you get to 8 hearts, because there's 10 hearts total, when you get to 8, you unlock dual mystic hearts with them, which can be used to really lay the smackdown on your enemies.
Mystic hearts also make a return. Like they're a little more complicated than they were in the first one. I mean, the first one you just held down. Like when you're in the...
I'll explain this. In the original Xillia, when you used an arcane art, you could hold down the X button provided you had the special skill equipped, and your character would do a mystic art, which would deal a fuckload of damage. In this game, in order to use mystic arts, it's more or less the same. You have to have the special skill equipped, but you have to be linked with a partner. And when you're linked with a partner, you do a linked art, not an arcane art, but a linked art. And hold down the X when you're doing it, and your character will do a mystic art. Also, while you can do a mystic art, you can also hold down the L1 button, and so it'll trigger your partner's mystic art as opposed to yours.
You can also build your affinity by doing the character quests. Yes, the game does character quests. While they are optional, they can help greatly with building affinity with characters. Character quests are short little side quests that are either a few short cutscenes or entire quests in themselves. The quests aren't very long, and throughout them, the choices you make during them can help build affinity with characters. It's a good idea to do these as they can have benefits in the future in both story and battles.
Well, character quests do increase your affinity, and that's going to be your main source of affinity increasing, whatever you want to say. There's also something you can get called friendship potions, which will also boost the affinity of your partner by a small amount if you don't feel like grinding to get it up through battle. But
what's the fun in that? Unfortunately, as friendly as you can get with them, there's no actual like romance or romance scenes on it. But I guess that would make sense because if they did that, then it'd be like borderline hand-tan. I don't know anything about that. The game does, unfortunately, have the worst fucking method of advancing the story ever. Earlier in the game's plot, you end up owing someone 15 million gold, and this is what sets the precedent for advancing the story for most of the rest of the game, and it's annoying as fuck. Before you can continue on with the story, at certain points in the game you have to reach a set number of gold before the game lets you advance in the story. You can get gold by taking out jobs that are offered at the job stand. It's a bullshit tactic, and one they better not do in the future Tales games. Ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present Angry Nikolai Rent. Anyway, alright, look, whoever thought this was a good idea, you're probably never gonna see this video, but no, do not do this. This was like the stupidest fucking way to advance the story. It stopped the game dead at parts, because you just had to like work on building your money, and then you can't really buy money. You're like spending so much time trying to get money that you really don't have enough money to spend on like weapons and items. Because if you do that, then you have to, you know, build up again to get the money you need to advance the story. It's bullshit. Like I said, you can get jobs and stuff in there, or you know, if you buy the elite monsters, that gives you a good chunk of money right there. But then like it takes all you got, and you still have no money to buy like all the fucking equipment you need to advance, and it's just crap. It's almost like doing microtransactions, only you're just using the in-game money instead of real-life money. And that kind of scares the shit out of me, because I'm starting to think that in the future of games like this, if they try to implement this, if you want to bypass it faster, you probably can use real money. And don't fucking do that! Screw that! Don't do this shit again. And if you put this game in the next Tales game, I'm just fucking done. I will send that shit back, I will return it, I'll say no, and I'll not play another fucking Tales game until that crap of a system is taken out.
The game also goes a silent protagonist route, where the character talks to the choice you make rather than be fully voiced. Sure, he says some words and even shouts out the moves during battle, but a silent protagonist just doesn't work in the Tales game.
However, when you beat the game and play through it again, suddenly he's voiced. Yes, in order to unlock Luger's voice, you have to beat the game, in which after every Tales game you beat, you unlock the grade shop. And you can use all the grades you've accumulated over your playthrough to buy like 5 times experience, double experience. You want to keep all your arts. Maybe in earlier Tales games you wanted to keep all your cooking recipes. There's so many things you could spend your grade on. And for free, you get Luger's voice acting for choices.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he like voices everything from them, but like when you make your choices, all of a sudden he does voice acting. Yeah, the whole like choice thing. The choices you make kind of depend on. It depends on the ending. Depending on how much you, how the character quests do, if you know characters, it's all really going to affect the ending. There's supposed to be multiple endings to this, right?
Yeah. It all comes down to the 3 choices you make after you beat the final boss.
So yeah, basically there's all the choice system, which is fine. You know, I didn't really mind that whatsoever. I just think, you know, not giving the character like any type of voice, it seems to just take away any personality you might have, and you got just like this wooden basic character who doesn't really talk except for like little one-liners. And when he uses his voice like in fighting battle, sometimes he'll say things like what, or huh, or yeah, or damn you, or whatever. But you know, it just really, there's really no depth to the character, because you know he just doesn't have like a dialogue, and he doesn't really advance or improve in any way. He's just like the same like basic character along the way. And I guess I wouldn't mind this if you could like create your own character, which I wonder if that would do that in a Tales game.
Radiant Mythology games.
Okay, but yeah, so it just,
I think they did that in the Radiant Mythology games. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I just didn't like that way they handled this. Tales of Xillia 2 isn't necessarily a bad game, but it does make a lot of design choices that are just terrible and doesn't do anything to improve on the last game. If anything, they seem to have taken some things out that worked well in the last game. If you're that interested in the continuation of the story, go ahead and check this game out. Just maybe wait till the price drop. I mean, I kind of liked in like the last game, like in battle you could switch out characters. You can't really do this in this one. It's basically that like when you're in town, you can interchange your characters and stuff like that. But when you leave town, you're leaving town with the 4 characters you have, and that's it. You can't really like switch out characters, which is a feature I really liked in the last game.
And just once you get to a certain point of the game, the plot becomes so predictable. No spoilers, but at some point I saw this little scene. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course.
All Tales games really can just go on ahead. You can really just kind of tell where it's going, and that's fine. Sometimes it gets a little vague in the beginning, but eventually they always like mess up somehow by like just letting you know how it's what direction they're going. The music I thought was pretty good though. I mean, I got no problem with it. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, and I kind of like the fact that I know it's like kind of weird thing to like, but like they're all like using pretty much cell phones in the game.
And guys cannot use a cell phone.
And I thought that was kind of cool because it's like it shows like I know they're always trying to do like modern stuff in RPGs and like you don't really see a lot of people like on cell phones in RPGs. Though,
Persona.
Okay, Persona. I never played Persona, so I really don't know. So other than Persona, I don't know any other ones. But yeah, based on all that, I mean, I don't know about this game. I think they could have left it at the end of the first one and been alright. Sometimes, you know, you try to make the direct sequels to these games, and they don't really pan out as well as it did originally. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this game a C-. I thought it was alright, but I don't know. I could have like lived my life without it existing.
I give it a B-. Story's predictable. The music's great. The combat is great. I love fighting in these games. Who doesn't?
Well, the combat was actually pretty good. I'm not knocking on the combat. I'm just saying like there's like a couple of things in that they took out that I just didn't sit well with me.
I like the Elite, and I like the Elite monster fights because you really put all your battle skills to use in that. So, yeah, Bloodlust is such a charming quality.
On that note, this has been It's Those Guys Game Reviews. We will see you next time.